Okay, hi everybody. Today we are talking about The Flash Season 9, Episode 5, The Mask of the Red Death Part 2. And wow, what an episode. Interesting to say the absolute minimum. Um, I kind of get what 3Dubs was talking about last week now when he was saying that you kind of got to break it up with like visual storytelling and something else. Um, because there was overall, I enjoyed the episode. It was really good, especially the fight at the end. It was phenomenal, and definitely what fans have been waiting for. But there are points in it where I'm like, well, I just have tremendous problems with this, you know. So it also kind of like makes me think of the Eternals because I loved that movie. I love 90% of that movie. Chloe Zhao, it made it look stunning. It's phenomenal. Every actor did a really good job. It was hilarious. But then they made them robots, right? So I kind of hate the movie a little bit now. Um, so there's it's mainly the crisis issue. We'll get to that anyway. So yeah, so it's definitely a mixed bag of an episode. Like I said, amazing visuals, amazing final fight, but there's some issues that we're going to have to get to. So I don't know if I mentioned this before because I don't know if I saw it before, but in Barry's book for the future, we saw that Sue buys Big Belly Burger in 2024. So that's something to look forward to. Oh no, we weren't going to see it. Oh no, shame. But that would have been something really good and funny to look forward to. I'm warming up to Mark as a character, but how on earth Red Death is supposed to have saved him last week, right? Because I went back and watched it. I sat rewinding the previously on part, right, and it showed us literally Boomerang and his Captain Boomerang and his Boomerang with Red Death's artificial negative speed force. I say negative because it's red. Like literally literally about to go into the guy, right? And then the cloud comes up when it's at like here. Do you know what I mean? And then while that's happening, you've also got Murmur drawn back and is about to go in as well. So she saved him when she was on the floor, still getting like worrying about the Flash. So she would have gone to chase the Flash, seen what's happening, and then stopped that. Like, oh no, quick! I've got to save Mark because I need him. Like all of that happening when it's literally about to enter the guy. I don't know. I don't buy it. So a slight issue with that, but I really like the character. It's obvious he was coming back, obviously, because Eric Wallace said no one's dying. But there he was in the title screen, happy as a clam. So, Murmur this week, we saw her without the mask on, and my God, it was shocking. She looked great. There's always something super sinister about like somebody that has a stitched mouth or stitched eyes, but somehow Stewie has a cheery disposition, you know. I suppose even a sad disposition, that'd be quite creepy. I mean, either way, yeah. But so, I don't know what anyone is supposed to do in that position. But yeah, just it always looked sinister. And then she whacked the mask on and got to work, and she did really, really well in the episode. So something I wrote down: did Red Death take the police and kill them? No. So again, she's being very specific on who she's killing. Quickly, it was nice to say. I will say it was nice to see we got a kind of on death kill for the Red Death 4 or 5 episodes in. You know, we finally got a kill, so there we go. So she got rid of the police, tied up Kramer. So this is another thing I was discussing with 3Dubs on the Midweek Freak, right? Is that you got Roy G. Biv or Rainbow Raider pre and post crisis, right? So pre crisis, he was predominantly using anger, as we saw, right? But he is able to use, to my understanding, he's able to use every emotion on the spectrum and like through color of light and stuff. And that's why he's called Rainbow Raider, not just Angry Man or whatever, something like akin to that, right? So obviously now he's using fear. And then like 3Dubs was thinking that like he only has anger or only has fear. But I would say that he has both, and he's just learned to like what works better, um, and has learned to grow the same as everybody else. But I guess that's down to interpretation because I don't think he's coming back, and they didn't explain that either way. They just showed him using the one and the one only. I myself, if I was writing the show, I would have definitely had him using more than the one. Um, so there was a point where they were boosting um, Cecile, and all she was doing was sat on a gurney. Like she wasn't sat in the thinker's chair. She didn't have any like that um, thing that Barry had or like put on Cecile before. There was literally nothing. She was just sat on a gurney, and they were supposedly making her stronger. I don't get how. What were they doing? What was used? Um, so there's a point where Grodd has an implant, right? And then Ryan doesn't. Okay, and then when the satellites, Captain Boomerang and Murmur were putting up on the top of the roof of CCPD, Red Death's mask like lit up with a glyph, and I checked to see if it was like because she mentioned Bashir, I was seeing if it was like akin to his one, but it's not. So it's just another person's glyph or just some kind of energy, like psychic energy in like a specific pattern. But if that's the case, if like surely she would need a helmet on to have it working, unless she's put like an implant in her head, like her head had nothing similar to what Grodd had. So unless it's like an internal implant, but again, there was nothing shown on her head which said, "I have something in my head." So because she herself has no powers. It's the suit that has the power, which is I have another problem with her using the Speed Force. Really, with like not really without the helmet, but it's the psychic powers, especially. I would say without the helmet, I kind of have an issue. Um, the rogues. There was a point where, as you saw, Barry and the rogues kind of disagreed on their plan of how to get Mark back, and I kind of feel like the divide and conquer would have worked better than just having everybody to go get Mark. As you saw, it didn't really work out because that's what Red Death was planning on. So divide and conquer definitely would have worked out better. There was a few points where the rogues kind of had like better ideas than Barry, and he even said, "My leadership is getting everybody in trouble at the minute." So I can't wait to turn that around. Can't wait to see that be turned around, I should say. Um, Something else I put down. So is Cecile using her powers on Joe all the time invasive? I think so, right? Because people are allowed a certain level of privacy, even in a very open and communicative relationship. So if somebody is feeling a certain way and doesn't want to communicate that, you're kind of robbing them of that privacy by sitting there kind of just be like having a conversation, and as they're walking off, just like pinging your little radar off. You know what I mean? Um, the argument could be made that his anxieties like reached such a level that her powers just kind of click to it. But I don't know. It just feels obviously because it like they're not going to just like cut to it happening just random points in a day. Obviously, it's going to happen for kind of like smoothness sake. It's going to happen during their scenes, but it just feels um like she's intently doing it because of that, and I don't feel that that's right personally. Um, couldn't help but notice that they used the same shot twice to introduce Red Death, just with different people in it, literally from the same angle as well. Like they weren't even trying to hide it. Um, and I'm pretty sure, like I might get an L for this one, but I'm pretty sure Barry called her Keon, right? And I'm pretty sure Keon called herself Keon, right? So I think there's a cicada situation happening between this as well, literally between the group of which she is a part of. So that's quite funny to me. Um, The rogues were really good this week. Goldface especially, he's always charming and a delight. Um, Always like seeing them work together. I did sit questioning like why these guys, and they have worked really really well together. So somebody made the right call in the production team. Um, to say Red Death's plan is flawed is generous, right? Because it's just pure nonsense. But she keeps blaming the Flash and saying, "I'm doing what you should have," right? So her plan is, she's saying her plan is what Barry should be doing, right? But her plan involves getting the speed of a psychic gorilla and using stuff that she stole from other people. So that's what she expects the Flash to do? Or does she expect the Flash to create like a whole bunch of time remnants and just continually patrol? But then without the psychic powers, he's just watching people or just running up to them and saying, "Hey, you're about to commit a crime." Thinking about it. I don't know. What was she expecting of this guy? Um, so yeah, so like there's a lot of implied deaths from Red Death because she was worldwide with the Sentinels. We saw one on-screen death, and it wasn't fully even on screen. It was just him screaming, and then off-screen, there it goes. So that's how they're going to say that it lines up with what was said before, with her having like the highest death count more than Cicada, because obviously Cicada was bound to Central City and only dealing with metas. She's gone worldwide and is dealing with criminals. I will be interested to see how many deaths were caused and the fallout of that. I think that's going to be very interesting, especially in the cities where there are like lots of like rogues for heroes, like Gotham City and Metropolis and things like that. Okay, so here we go. So this is my issue: is how on earth did even if Crisis caused the gorilla thing to not happen, like, so there's only Grodd that has sentience among gorillas, right? And his powers and stuff. I'm assuming because of Eobard. The episode where he got the speed and Barry sent him on his way happened after Crisis, right? So the implication of that is like, yes, Grodd is psychic, but only the Paragons and the people specifically involved in Crisis, right, would have got the Martian Manhunter book, right? The Paragons obviously knew about the world change and things like that, but other than the Paragons, it would have been Team Arrow, Team Flash, Team Supergirl, maybe Black Lightning's family, and just like a few key players, right? Gorilla Grodd would not have been one of them. So he was still with the expectation that there are sentient gorillas and there's a whole thing before. So what the hell? I'm so confused. He should have no conception of pre-crisis. That that episode shouldn't have happened if this is what's happening now. That episode was fine. It was a fantastic episode. Seeing a gorilla with Speed Force, I'm fully down for it, right? Leave that alone. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you want to bring Grodd back into it, you can bring Grodd back into it. You don't have to give him this whole sad story where you've got to turn it around and make him the hero kind of thing. You know what I mean? You could just say like he had a change of heart and wanted to be the bad guy or something, or you know, or she was holding a bunch of gorillas captive or something. I don't know. There's a whole multitude of things that you could have done instead of destroying the work that you've already have done. Do you know what I mean? It feels like they're chipping away at their own stuff that we've all enjoyed and made. Okay, so that's canon. That's the thing. That's this. That's this. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know. I have a real issue with that. A massive issue. Um, it's funny to see Goldface off to see Amunet. Um, when Amunet, the actress for Amunet, obviously, Katie Sackhoff is in The Mandalorian at the moment. So like he's going to see Amunet Black, who should be in Iron Heights, but she's actually on Mandalore this week on a whole other universe, you know. So it was a little giggle for me there. What else? So also appropriate that Goldface called Barry the chemist when he's without speed and had no hope of anything, because that's literally what he was reduced to. I kind of like that. Um, I also I'm really interested to see which came first. Uh, the idea of Joe leaving, or Barry's book where he said we're going to be moving in. Like, was there already wheels turning for Joe where he was like, I kind of just wanted to take care of Jenna and my family and the situation, or and then like the book was like the confirmation of that. So he was like, okay, now I'm going to kind of get the wheels turning. I'm making the right call here. Or did he see the book and then go, you know what, that's actually a good idea. Let's get Jenna out of here, and then obviously the danger with Red Death and everything. So I would be interesting to find that out. Um, Again, yeah, one kind of on-screen death. Um, I've got in capitals. I love Grodd. Grodd is a badass, and he absolutely is. Even just getting angry a little bit and just talking, um, the voice actor is phenomenal. Um, like the day of, he was like, "Hey, you should be watching The Flash on Twitter." It's great. And I called Grodd like the second that trailer came out and it showed us like Barry in the forest, like the forest and stuff. I was like, that's definitely him going to talk to Grodd. I called it. Um, okay, Red Death is not threatening. Okay, not at all. She sits there like a petulant child, and all of that. Not threatening in the least, right? Um, and that's even with thousands of her around the globe. Not threatening. There's one reverse flash and there's one zoom. Obviously, like he made like copies and stuff like that, but that was like a quick means to an end. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, that like the whole subterfuge thing with Jay, like that's a different thing. But like for the most part, it's like a quick thing. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm going to quickly trick him, but this and this, but I'm mainly going to be faster and beat the crap out of him. I kind of miss just like having one speedster as the villain instead of one speedster that feels the need to make 50 different versions of themselves. You know, just have one speedster, just have one fight, and that's it. Like, obviously, we got to one fight with Red Death, and that was phenomenal. We'll get to that, but genuinely, and then later on, we're just going to be getting like a team of speedsters, evil speedsters. That is going to be so phenomenal. But again, they're just individual speedsters. They're not going to be there making 50 different copies of themselves. It just gets too much. It's like you don't need all of that. A speedster is threatening enough, in a suit or not. You know. Because especially like if you think about like Red Death's mission about to stop crime and stuff, she already has access to a database that has thousands and thousands and millions of criminals. Why not start there? Do you know what I mean? Like make that the thing. Oh, how are we going to narrow down how we're going to find her? She's quick. She's going off. She's picking off a whole bunch of people, but it seems to be at random. How do we work it out? Right. Oh, look, we've just missed her here. We're going to go get her here. Wow, this is it. Now we've got her. Now it's a fight. I mean, there's ways to do it. You don't. Anyway. Anyway. So yeah, again, it all in capitals. The fight, the fight, the fight. The fight was amazing. I really, really enjoyed it. It was just everything that we wanted to see. As always, I wish it was a little bit longer, but there's only so much you could fit into an episode. But yeah, no, it was really good. I rewound it a good few times. People that know me know I problem with rewinding anyway, but that got super rewound because just like the way like Red Death was throwing lightning, and then Barry was doing like spins in the air to throw lightning and stuff. It just looked really, really, really good. I loved it. Um, I love that Ryan made a bat symbol in the smoke when she came in and landed to fight Red Death. That was fantastic. Um, the whole episode was like comic book cheesy, um, in the way that they were like, Batwoman was like, "Hey, is it always this crazy?" And then she's like, everyone else is like, "Hey, it's Wednesday," you know, like between that and then the swoosh. I don't know what I mean by that. The swoosh. What was it? Yeah, that was it. As Ryan was leaving Star Labs, she gave a little swoosh of her cape, which was phenomenal, but like incredibly cheesy, like fully playing into it, and it's great. Um, so the final word was she was from another timeline. That I have as much issues with as their grud is with Crisis, right? Because as Legends taught us, if there are changes made to the timeline, the changes happen, it's frozen in, right? And that, or concreted in, and that's it, right? If you want to go back, like there's a whole thing. It's a whole thing, right? But basically, timeline is a timeline. It's not multiple versions of one timeline existing on one planet. That would be another Earth. The multiverse. They're giving us the multiverse without saying it's a multiverse. They're saying it's another timeline. It doesn't fit the language of the show. Since season 2, we've been talking about parallel or multiple Earths and stuff like that. It's genuinely like they've seen a beautiful tapestry that they've made, and they just wanted to sit and pick apart it, like in little bits, just to kind of have it frayed a little bit, and it's annoying because, again, all you've got to do is be a fan of the show and have a conversation in the room where you're writing it and go, well, hang on a minute, why are you saying that? It doesn't take much. Again, there are people that break this shit down every week, right? I have a conversation every week on Thursdays, the Midweek Freak. The after party happens on Saturdays. Geek Drums happens on Mondays. Thousands of other people. Do you know what I mean? Like, it genuinely doesn't take much. All you got to do is like just pay attention, not think about how much spectacle or can we make with this conversation, or how can we draw this out, or how can we make this bigger. Think about what you've done, think about where you want to go, and think about the lines that you have to make it connect. Not just like, here's the dots we've got, and now we're gonna like have some whole mess in between. I don't know. Lovely moment with Ryan and Iris at the end. Really nice. I like that Ryan has brunch with Kara, Alex, Nia, and Nia, but like I feel like if Kara's outed her identity, then it wouldn't take much to go, okay, so I like, oh, that's who you're hanging out with. Okay, well, that's that hero, that's that hero, that's that hero. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, she's wearing like the mask and a whole costume and stuff. And I will say, like, full credit though, like when she is, for me, when she's in that the Batwoman costume, she does look different, like genuinely different. Like there was times in there like that she looked like Janelle Monáe or something. I was like, that is a completely different person and a completely different facial structure. So that mask is doing wonders to work. But Nia and Alex, aka the Sentinel, easily. Do you know what I mean? Like the Sentinel and Alex specifically should be a no-brainer for people that are trying to take an interest and like be an investigative person. So yeah, never mind. But it's nice that they hang out. You know, it's like they don't have girls' night; they have girls' brunch, and it's nice. It's really sweet. Um, So a lovely send off for Joe, emotionally powerful, and as to be expected, sending off the wonderful Jesse L. Martin. I'm definitely going to be giving his show a watch because, like I said, he is a tremendous actor and a pure talent. And there were tears. There were tears, and that's okay. Yeah, definitely expected. The man is a phenomenal actor. Last thing, how on earth does Kyo know that Iris is pregnant? My friend Brian was saying that it's possibly because of like the birthing cycle being a part of nature, and obviously she's going to be nature driven with her powers and stuff. And I was like, yeah, that logically makes sense, but I'm not happy with it. I don't like that, you know. Um, like she is pure plot device at this point. It's been foretold that she's going to be there at the end, helping. I'm assuming with the speedsters, probably maybe before, I don't know, but she's going to have a whole thing with her powers, and it just feels like there's certain points like where they're like, oh, I don't know what to do here, so it's like just whack her in and just say something. Let's just use her to cement over the gap. So yeah, not a fan of that part. Not a fan at all. But again, so it sounds like I have a whole bunch of problems. I have two big issues, some little nitpicks, but overall, I enjoyed the episode. When I watched it twice. The first time as a fan, the second time to write everything down and sit and review it. There was, like, I'll be honest, there was a time when I was first watching it that I was kind of like, the reviewer brain's kicking in. How is that happening? That shouldn't be happening. So I had to kind of shut that off a little bit. But overall, I really did enjoy the episode, especially when we got to the fight. Last little nitpick, thinking about it. On the fight, Red Death's like, Barry, I'm gonna get you, Flash, or whatever, right? She runs into that little square and goes, Flash, show yourself. I'm calling out to you now, in the middle of a square, assuming he's gonna hear her, right? Which is what Shazam did brilliantly with the whole monologuing and I can't hear you, you know? And then he rocks up with his speed, and then she's like, you have your speed? How did that happen? How did you expect him to come and confront you otherwise? Did you really think he was going to smoke bomb in and start a fist fight? Anyway, so overall, I really enjoyed it. It doesn't sound like it, but I really did. I would give it like a 7.5 out of 10 for sure. I will say that, if I'm honest, that last fight did really kind of like jump it up a point or two, because that was great. It was really, really great. And I hope they don't save like the special effects for all of the other stuff. Like, and there's just none in the bottle episodes. I really do hope like it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Like even if they kind of do that, so like it's big, kind of like a little kind of like bottle episode, and then more greatness. I'm down for that too. So we just have to wait and see. But let me know your score for the episode. Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comments below. Thank you for coming and hanging out, and I hope to see you on the Midweek Freak. And don't forget to check out the Beats and Sabers, because I had a lot of fun making it, and it's getting to the point where all the good like tracks are coming out now.